Hey everybody, how you doing? It's your boy Shaheener coming at you with another episode of the Pokemon Babblers podcast, and of course, as always, I'm joined by my co-host Bano.
Oh, looking for something. Go ahead.
Uh,
Keep going. Don't mind me.
okay, so this episode, we of course are going to be talking about the very first remakes that they ever released, which is Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green for the Game Boy Advance. These are remakes of the original Pokemon games, Pokemon Red and Pokemon Green. Or at least in the West, we had Pokemon Red and Blue. Also Yellow. I think everything got integrated in little bits and pieces. Hey, there we go. There we go.
I was looking for the other one. It's around here somewhere.
Hold on. I got mine. 1 second. They're getting stuck.
It's around here somewhere. I don't know.
Hey, there we go. But I don't have labels on either of mine. But they're legit, I swear.
Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. Huzzah!
Hey! Okay, I was wondering what you were looking for.
That's what I was looking for.
Okay, so, yeah, again, these were released on the Game Boy Advance, and they were announced in September 2003 for the Game Boy Advance, but then they were released in Japan on January 29th of 2004. They were released in America of September 9th, 2004, to Australia, September 23rd, 2004, and to Europe, October 1st, 2004. So, in Europe, they just surpassed the 18th anniversary for those games.
Literally almost a year after Ruby and Sapphire, these games came out.
Yeah, it's crazy of how quick their just turnaround time was on these ones.
Right.
Yeah, because especially, like, I feel like that, I mean, yeah, they could take some of the Pokemon assets from there, but they still had to make the original game from the ground up. They still had to do all the new sprites and just bring back the mechanics and all the other new features they had in this game, too.
Yeah, they did do a sprite change because there are like separate sprites for the There are like different sprites for the Kanto Pokemon in Sapphire. They didn't reuse those. They made completely new sprites.
Exactly.
Some of the assets are the same, but I think they changed like a lot of the pixel art for like the trees and like the ridges, as well as some of the grass textures are different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy that they just were able
So
to
it isn't just
that.
copy paste. We're going for that.
Exactly.
They definitely did put work in.
Exactly, yeah, it's a total overhaul from the, yeah, literally just from the past year. Like, they did a total overhaul of this game, and yeah, overall they sold about 12 million copies as of March of 2022. And actually, with this game, so I don't know if they did this beforehand. I think this is the first time that they released a game with a peripheral included, but they included this peripheral called the wireless adapter, which it connects to your Game Boy Advance or your SP. And rather than having the wired link cable, it's basically just like a wireless dongle that allows you to connect to other Game Boy Advances that have either Fire Red, Leaf Green, or Emerald. Emerald was compatible with it. And you could do your trades and your battles and everything with that. It's kind of cool that they included it for free. Like, it was completely free with it.
Did that raise the price, though, of the game?
I don't think so. I think it was still about $35.
Let's see.
It was either $35 or $40. Because I remember Emerald released at $40. Fire Red and Leaf Green, I believe, were $35. But as Bono's researching that, gotta pop open a cold one for the squad. This one goes out to Robbie Coltrane, aka Hagrid. Rest in peace.
Mm-hmm. I typed in Fire Red price at release, and it came up with some Air Jordans for $220. People said it was around $30 to $40, but it's just like I keep seeing a lot of like eBay prices, and people are selling them for like $71.
That's crazy. It was either $34.99 or $39.99, but I feel
$39.99.
Yeah,
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess it's only like $5 more than the regular like Ruby and Sapphire, for example, and all the games before that were about $34.99.
Right, they could have easily like put $50 and said, "Oh, the dongle cost us a lot to make."
Yeah. But nope, they decided to be cool for once. One of the few times that they're actually cool to the fans.
Well, I mean, let's be honest here. They gave you a dongle on a game that they already made.
Yeah, exactly. But also, it's like the dongle couldn't really be used for anything else other than Fire Red, Leaf Green, and Emerald. So
right.
It's kind of limited. And
yeah.
This was the first Kanto-based game where you could pick either the boy or the girl trainer, so they had to make a new asset for her. This was also the first Pokedex. So they added a new feature on the Pokedex that allowed you to separate the Pokemon by like biomes, basically. So Pokemon that were found near lakes or oceans or the open plains, that they allowed it to be separated like that, which was, I thought it was pretty cool. But honestly, I tried to just have it in the regular list method. It just seemed easier for me because
Yeah, I was saying my 10-year-old brain could wrap my head around what the hell a riverland biome was from a fucking savanna biome.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I remember playing another spin-off, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, and they tried to do the same thing, I think. Where it's like, or at least when you're playing the game and you get into a certain map, it's like, oh yeah, you're in the pond map. And I'm like, what Pokemon are found in a pond?
Was this game also introduced scene transitions between areas?
They
like when you go to the cave, it put like some pixel art of the area?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you go to a certain like area, like a certain special area, like let's say the Viridian Forest or the Cerulean Cave, that Safari it would Zone. Have, yeah, or Safari Zone, rest in peace, that they had, basically they had some artwork, like a backdrop as a transitionary scene to go from where you were to where you are. And that was really, really cool because they got to be a little bit more fun with those transitionary scenes, I feel like.
All right, it was something no one asked for. Nobody, specifically wanted it, but it was nice that they added it, and it looked, it added a little flair to the game. I liked it.
And I feel like that they could be doing that with Scarlet and Violet. Like, well, or at least maybe not with Scarlet and Violet because it's open world, but let's say with like Sword and Shield, where you go into an area, it should give you like some like artwork. I don't know. I feel like that'd be cool.
Or like a zoom out of the area.
Exactly. Instead of just the map, like just the basic ass map.
Kind of like how they had it in some of the Zelda games, like where you enter, I think it was like in Ocarina of Time, like you enter Jabu Jabu's palace or whatever, and it does like a camera view of like the dungeon, stuff like that.
Right. Oh, also, before we go any further, which was your first game for this generation? Did you have Fire Red or Leaf Green first?
Fire Red.
Yeah. I had Leaf Green first, actually. I don't know, I think it's because, well, my first Pokemon game was Blue, and...
Loser.
I know. Fuck you. But I was just thinking, because I used to go on Cerebi, like, around this time. This was around the beginning of when I started going to Cerebi. Saw, like, in the beginning. Yeah, so they had green... I saw that they had Pokemon Green version in the East. I was like, oh, that's so cool. I wish we had Green version. And then they showed Fire Red and Leaf Green. I'm like, oh, I need to get Green. It'll be just like back in 1996. That's so
Whatever,
cool.
Dude. I'm still waiting on Bubble Blue, all right? I'm still waiting for them to release Bubble Blue. Or Please, there's artwork for that. Please look that up to showcase to our viewers. The whole rumor at the time was that this was going to have like an Emerald version. And so there's Fire Red and Leaf Green. And so we're waiting on the third version of the game. It was going to be like Bubble Blue or like Tidal Blue or something like that.
I bet that if I look this up, they're to show Blastoise with a bubble butt. So I'm all for it. Let's see.
Pokemon Bubble Blue or something like that.
Pokemon Bubble Blue version.
There you go.
That looks so stupid.
That's what are you talking about? We're still waiting on that.
Pokemon Bubble Blue, make it happen, Nintendo, you cowards.
Make it happen. Yeah, there's also like a bunch of other like things people did, like Blue Sea. You can see it right there.
Yeah, there's Blue Sea. Oh my god, my brain completely just turned into goop right there. For a second, when I was clicking on the image, I thought it was gonna say Pokemon Bethesda Edition.
Nice. They'll release it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
On different platforms.
All of this just works.
It does, yeah. But yeah, we always thought like that would be the thing, but unfortunately we didn't get it. So people who love Blue version, guess what? And get people who love Squirtle, guess what? You suck.
Pika Yellow.
No one likes you. Pika Yellow, that was another one.
Yeah. But yeah, Pokemon Bubble Blue, let's go. Pokemon Bubble Butt, let's go.
Right. It's not like they didn't have the blue cartridges. They just came out with Sapphire.
Yeah, they could have completely just like taken those or they could have made like an opaque blue like they did with Fire Red Leaf Green.
I just don't think they could justify selling 3 versions of the same game and then figure out a way to split the decks up into 3. Like which version exclusive would get Growlithe, which one would get Vulpix, which one would get Shafted and get no fire types.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean in Japan they started with red and green, then they added blue. So I don't remember what the version exclusives, how that was all distributed either.
Right. I don't know. Yeah, that'd be true. It's kind of weird.
It's entirely
I think it'd be like Yellow, where they just didn't give you the Pokemon, like, straight up. Kind of like how Crystal didn't give you Mareep, which is by far, like, the most egregious thing ever.
Oh, completely. That was an atrocity right there.
Like, we'll save that for the next episode. Yes. They're like, oh, you can't get Mareep, but here's Magnemite, and I'm just like, fuck you, give me Mareep.
No, give me my Amphi.
So, yeah, there was that. Yeah. Where were we? Biomes? Yeah, biomes are cool. Scene transitions are cool. It really didn't help when you're trying to narrow down stuff, especially like when you're doing just the regular Pokedex, because it's
Mhm.
filled with 151, so you could probably skim through the entire thing relatively fast.
Right. Also, what was interesting about this, I didn't know about this until you brought it up when we were preparing the episode right now, is
Hmm.
that so the fossil Pokemon that you get, so in the original games in Red and Blue, at
Hmm.
least over here, we're just gonna use Red and Blue as our reference point because we
All
didn't
right, because
have
that's
Green.
what the games they're based
Yeah,
off of.
yeah. And so in the original games, that you were given the fossil Pokemon at level 30, like
The one
Kabuto,
you
Ammonite.
revived it.
Yeah, when you revived it. But now in this one, they treat the fossils like an egg, and so you're given
Hmm.
it at level 5.
Yep.
Which, I mean, and these Pokemon were hard to grind, at least in my opinion. I feel like that they're a little more difficult to grind than your standard Pokemon. So it made it way more tedious to get it to a Kabutops or Omastar, especially if you're trying to
Especially,
have one on your team or finish your
yeah,
Pokedex.
especially when you're at the point when you can do that, which let's see, the earliest you could probably get there is right after you get the 5th badge,
Yeah.
which means you could, yeah, so you could do, you have to still do the tower to get the Poke Flute, and then you could either go Cycling Road or south from Lavender Town.
Mhm.
So it's basically past the halfway point of the game. You can go and
Yeah.
get any of the fossil Pokemon, and then not to mention Kabutops and Omastar or evolve or Ammonite and Kabu. Is it Kabuto?
Yeah,
No,
Kabuto and Ammonite, they evolve
Kabuto
at level 40.
at level 40. So good
Yeah.
luck leveling those up.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like Pano said, you have to go over halfway through the game just to get these Pokemon at level 5, and then start from scratch at level 5, go all the way up to level 40, just if you wanted to have them on your team or do whatever. I mean, if
Not
you're
to
trying
mention,
to
I think
fix
they
the
have
Pokemon,
shitty moves.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that Kabutop, I think they both have great designs, but also Water Rock type is not really ideal because you can
Hmm.
just get easily swept by a Grass type.
All right.
And also you have the other weaknesses of like electric and fighting and whatever. But or actually no, I
And
think
they
it might be neutral because of water. But
they are shiny huntable, and I've seen people do
are
it, and it
they?
sucks. Yeah, because you have to
Ooh,
like because it's not like you where they're just given to you. You
no,
have
you
to.
have to
Well,
go
I
out of
guess
the
it's
build.
this.
No, because you
Yeah,
have
you
to
have to go
get
out
the
of the building.
fossil. You have to go out of the building, go back in, and then you check it, and then you have to reset. That sounds tedious as hell.
It is, and it's kind of like I was to say it's not like anything else, but you've seen it in Sapphire, but or not Sapphire, Diamond and Pearl, but the like where you have to go out of the building is like so short compared to that game because you have to go out, walk all the way to the left, go out of the building, go back in the building, walk all the way back to the right, and then go to the
Yeah.
last lab to
At
get in
some
there.
point, I feel like you have to have the most optimal method for it because I know in the buildings you can't run, at least in this game.
Right.
So maybe if you just remember like how many steps it goes from here and here, and you can just mindlessly do that. But
Hmm. With the
yeah,
white, yeah, you can't whip out a bike inside.
exactly. And you can't just like develop a program to do that for you. With version exclusive Pokemon, so with Jinx and Lickitung, they remain the only attainable Pokemon through trading.
In
And
their own generation.
yeah, exactly. And also, I didn't know this either. You mentioned it as well. Is that with the Nidorans with male and female, is
Hmm.
that they made the trade on this one better than they did in the original?
Hmm.
Because you could probably explain it a little bit better than I can. But
So the way it works in Fire Red and Leaf Green is that in Fire Red you have a percentage of, I think it's like, I don't know the exact percentages, but male is more apparent than female, where in Leaf Green it's the opposite. Females are more apparent than males. In Red and Blue, the original trade, the trade was for a male Nidoran for a female Nidoran, which was great in Red version, but in Blue, females are more apparent than males. So if you caught your rare ass male Nidoran and then traded it away for a common female Nidoran, that sucked. In this game, it's the opposite. So now they offer the opposite one. So in Fire Red, they offer a female, and then in Leaf Green, they offer a male for the more common one. So that's a way of getting it without having to like grind and try to find it.
with this game, so it's based within the Generation 3 life cycle, and
Hmm.
they brought in all 386 Pokemon into this
Hmm.
game, at least at this point. But you couldn't acquire any Pokemon past 151 until you got the National Dex, or at least got to the Sevi Islands and did all that stuff.
Hmm.
So, if you tried to, let's say, evolve a Golbat into a Crobat, you couldn't do that yet until you get the National Dex. So, it'll give you like a weird error screen, and it'll be like, yeah, nope, can't do this
Hmm.
until you got the National Dex, which I guess makes sense, but I feel like that would have been interesting to have where you could get those Pokemon. They wouldn't have a like a Pokedex number, they'd have like a question mark to them. until you got the national dex. I feel like that'd be interesting to be like, whoa, what is this Pokemon?
I wonder what it would be like if you had, let's say, Fire Red and you were at like the 5th badge or whatever, and you had Leaf Green that's beaten, and you caught an Onyx and you got the Metal Coat in the post game area because it's the only place you can get it,
Right.
and you trade it to the Fire Red that has the 5th badge and no national dex. Would the Onyx evolve, or would you get that error screen? Because I was thinking about the only Kanto Pokemon that evolve, which are into Johto Pokemon, which are Crobat, Onyx, Scyther. Yeah. So I wonder how that would work.
Or Poliwhirl to Politoed with the King's Rock.
Politoed.
Also Slowpoke the Slowking.
I don't remember if you get King's Rock.
I can't imagine.
No. But yeah, that would be interesting to see. But I'm pretty sure they thought of it and it'd be the same thing.
But that was
forgot about Politoed.
Exactly. Yeah, we all forget about Politoed until they announced the new Pokemon like they did today.
That reminds me of in X and Y. So you do chain fishing. That's a thing for shiny hunting. And then there's this Politoed on Route 19, which is like the rarest. It's like 5%. And you use the super rod to get it, right? And so I think they knew this from the get-go, because there's no way that this is fucking occurs naturally. So it's a 5% chance encounter to get it, right?
Yeah.
You get your shiny Politoed. Guess what fucking move that Politoed knows?
Oh no, Perish Song?
Yep, it knows Perish Song. So it's like, unless you are like thoroughly researched this and went at it, they had to have known that like we're gonna do this fishing mechanic and then get you a bunch of shiny Pokemon, but we're gonna make this Politoed a Perish Song.
Yeah, so you basically got to have a Master Ball at the ready.
Master Ball or anything with soundproof. But yeah, like exactly. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah. So like the new Pokemon that they revealed today, Bellytoad. It literally looks like the beta version of Politoed. Somebody on Reddit showed it earlier today, or at least made the comparison between the two, and I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, they look like really close. It also reminds me of what was it? There was a Fakemon that went around for a while there.
I'm almost kind of mad. It's not now that I think about it. It's not like Paldean Poliwag or something like that.
Tentaquill, I want to say.
Tentaquill.
Yeah. Well, let me bring that one up. Have you seen Tentaquill before?
I think I have, but I just can't put the name to the image.
I believe no. Fuck.
Tentaquill.
No. Tentaquill. There we go.
Yeah, I've
this
seen that.
Stupid idiot over here. I don't know. I just thought about that. In Red and Blue, you could acquire Mew by glitches. And I did that with the
glitches ever.
Yeah, the strangest freaking glitches, and it was on the Nugget Bridge. And I mean, I did that one on the Virtual Console, at least. I didn't know it when I was younger, but yeah, I did it when the Virtual Console releases of Red, Blue, and Yellow came out, and I still got Mew just fine. But they fixed that one, and Mew is not available in the game at all, unless you trade it from somewhere else, like Emerald, where you could technically, legitimately get it, but you'd have to have the proper mystery gift items and whatever. So
yeah, you'd have to have gone to Toys R Us in the year 2004 and you know been lucky enough to be able to do that.
Exactly.
We say lucky enough. It was probably nothing, but like
we were 10.
Yeah, most people that are adults now had a lot of trouble being like, "Hey, mom, we have to go to Toys R Us today."
Yeah.
Or like even had access to like know about it, because this was it's not early days of the internet, but early days of like news spread.
Exactly. Yeah, so you had to know the fan sites to go to, like Maryland or Cerebi or whatever it is, or going on Dig.
Yeah, going on Dig, or Yahoo News or MSN.
Exactly. I had to ask Jeeves, like, how do I get Mew? And he'd be like,
how do I do it?
Basically, with this one, another quality of life improvement that they added, which I thought was really cool. I guess in hindsight, I thought it was annoying at first, is that when you save the game and you turn it off and you load up the game, it'll give you kind of like bullet points of where you were before. It'll show like a short little screen recording of what you were doing last time, and just give you an idea like, hey, this is what you did, this is where you're at, go ahead. Which I thought was really cool. But when I was starting the game, it was like, I knew what I was doing, I was playing it every day. But now it's like, oh, it's been 5 years, I haven't loaded this game, what did I do last time?
Right. It was neat. It's definitely annoying when you're like trying to like just get into the game. I know soft resetting for the starters, you still have to do that. Even if that you just started the game, it'll still say, "Oh, woke up from bed, went over to
Yeah.
Professor Oaks," and so just do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like thinking about like in the code, like where, like what checks are there that warrant that screen to pop up? Is it
Yeah.
like if you catch a Pokemon, if you access the PC, if you went to an area, like where
hmm
in the code or what function
Yeah.
is it called that says if this, then copy and then play at the beginning of the game?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and how do they store all this like saved footage, like gameplay footage on there?
Right?
Like there
Because
had
it
to be
is
something
it
with
is
these
footage,
cartridges that was different from like the Fire Red Leaf Green cartridges to every other Game Boy Advance cartridge. There has to be something different. So I feel
right?
like they have a tendency of doing that, like especially as we talked about last time with the Heart Gold, Soul Silver, with the infrared sensors in the
hmm
cartridges. Like I feel like that they kind of did whatever they wanted with their cartridges.
The old man that teaches you how to catch a Weedle actually gives you a small portable television that fits in your bag,
hmm
and then that is kind of like used to like do like tutorials on how to do stuff like battle stuff and how to catch Pokemon. And there's tons of things on there that I was like, well, duh, I've played like 4 Pokemon games to this point, like why the hell
Yeah.
would I need a tutorial?
Yeah.
But it was still nice to see because it was like its own television channel. Like it just had some random guy and he just
Mhm.
like start talking and stuff like that. And it's nice to imagine because you're like, oh, I want to like take a relaxing moment, and then your trainer will like pull out this TV and just turn it on.
Yeah.
It had the antenna and everything, so it was
hmm
really a symbol of its time.
Yeah, it's probably their version of the video now, if you remember that.
We didn't have no Rotom phones back in the day.
No. We had to bring around this fucking brick of a TV and set it
Yeah,
up with the antennas and pay for Dish Network or whatever.
yeah. But yeah, it was nice. It was a nice little thing. The help system also had like what the Pikachu on the blue screen kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'd hit left or right, and that would trigger the help button. I think you could shut that off in the options because that got
Yeah.
annoying.
Pretty
Like when
sure
you
you could do
like,
like L equals A again.
yeah, when
That's a
you'd like
great
tap it
feature.
on accident.
Yeah. L
I
equals A
love
was
L
nice.
equals A. L
Mm-hmm.
equals A saves me so much time
Oh
because
yeah.
I just play with my left
Especially
hand
if you're trying to
sometimes.
dual wield as well, you just like L equals
Ah!
It's like I need a
Yeah,
whip.
you could use your index finger and your pinky to control one, and then L and A on the other.
Exactly. It's a true intellectual's way of playing Pokemon. Yeah, you can
Yes, the
go into
biggest addition to this game so far is the addition of a new little side adventure right after you attain the 7th badge on Cinnabar Island, where you go to a place called the Sevi Islands. And I always thought it was weird because I was like, oh, this is the Sevi Islands, but I only can only go to 1, 2, and 3. Where the hell are the other 4?
yeah.
But there is like a little side plot with the Sevi Islands after Cinnabar, which is just a nice little thing to get you going
hmm
for a while, but it doesn't really like say like, hey, go to the Sevi Islands again after you beat the game, which is why it took me forever to fully explore the Sevi Islands. But
hmm
yes, there are 7 additional islands that you can explore post game. I believe one island serves the purpose in the post game for something, but on the initial visit there, you can go and catch Moltres
Right.
because
Yeah, they changed
they
it.
moved Moltres from Victory Road, which
Right.
is okay. I mean,
Yeah.
it's cool. They added a new area, Mount Ember.
I think it incentivizes people to go over to the Sevi Islands still, instead of
Right.
just like having everything internalized like the original game, where it's like, oh
hmm
yeah, we worked on this, go explore what we worked on. Which I
Right.
mean, I love the Sevi Islands.
I
I
do
mean,
too. I think
had
it
I
is
yeah.
it's a neat feature, especially considering that at least the first 4 generation Pokemon games are all based on regions in Japan,
hmm
and there are a lot of islands that still that are close to Japan that still count, as
Yeah.
part of the islands.
Yeah. And since we
Which
never
is
got a true Orange Islands based game until Sun and Moon, it does make sense that they would give us
right.
something.
I feel like there's still a lot more they could have done with the Seven Islands, but I'm glad that what we did get, because I believe that what the first thing you do there is you go and meet Celio,
Mhm.
who is Bill's friend, and then
Not the
Celio's,
Pokemon, by the way.
yeah, not the Pokemon. This guy didn't turn himself into a Pokemon like
No.
Bill did. And then from there you do a couple errands for him, and then I think once you get to the 3rd island, you have to rescue this girl from a hypno,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of
Right.
weird.
Yeah, it was a really creepy, like well, I guess you have to go through it, but it's just like really creepy because,
So yeah, it's
like,
also the only time you can get like a wild hypno, I
yeah,
think.
like an inter. I think you could catch them in the grass over there, but it's like it was interactable, which was strange.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty neat.
Hmm.
Then it also added like I think it's the berry forest is the way to get berries without actually like planting them because you can't plant berries in Fire Red and
Right.
Leaf Green.
Exactly. They got rid of the clock and the day night cycle. So
Hmm.
for Eevee to evolve into Espeon or Umbreon, you do have to have that done in Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald.
But yeah, I love the Sevi Islands. There's like so much I could talk about, but we'll
Hmm.
wait until we get to like the post game and back
Yeah.
and we can go into more detail on those later.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I could agree with that. Yeah. So they also expanded Team Rocket's plot post game, which again we will talk about post game.
Hmm.
With the Sevi Islands, because it really just like everything is kind of centralized in the Sevi Islands. But
Well, I mean, the most of the next couple of topics we have are just post game Sevi Island stuff. So do you want
I
to talk
guess.
about it?
Uh, yeah, I guess. I mean,
Okay, so
it's been 18. Yeah.
the original plot of this game is still the same. You do encounter Team Rocket. I believe the first time you encounter him is at Mount Moon, then Nugget Bridge, then the Dig Guy, then there's nothing for a while until you get to Celadon. You break into the game corner, fight Giovanni, he gives you the Silph Scope, you beat them in the tower, you get the Poke Flute. You don't see him again until
Silphco, I think.
yeah, Silphco.
Hmm.
And then after that, you don't see him again until Giovanni at the 8th gym, no?
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
And so the way this works is that you beat the game, you become champion. Like I said, there's no thing telling you to go back, but once you do go back to the Sevi Islands and you talk to Celio, he will talk about trying to finish his transfer machine between Hoenn and Kanto.
Hmm.
And it's like this huge giant computer, which really dates the time.
Yeah,
Because they're like, oh, we need big computers in order to do stuff like that. Where
exactly.
nowadays we don't really do.
Mm-mm.
But he charges he was going to find two stones, one ruby and one sapphire. Ha ha ha! Play on words there. And I believe one of them, you go to Mount Ember, and I believe you find the ruby there with some Team Rocket grunts that were just that were at a point that were messing around when you went there the first time that wouldn't let you pass.
Hmm.
Once you complete the become champion, they'll proceed, and you get the ruby from there. Then Celio gives you the pass to go and find to the other Sevi Islands, access to 4, 5, 6, and 7 island. 4 island, I believe, is the breeding island, so that's where you can do breeding,
Hmm.
as well
Oh
as
yeah.
the breeding island. Is the island with the daycare. It also contains the icy path with, and it's also revealed that I believe Lorelei is from 4 Island. So
Right.
Lorelei is not a native of Kanto. Well, she's not a native of Kanto. She's a native of the Sevi
Mainland Kanto,
Islands,
let's say.
mainly. So yeah.
Yeah.
So she's from the Sevi Islands, specifically 4 Island, which I think is really cool,
Hmm.
especially with the icy path, how it has like all the Swinubs and Sneasels and stuff like that.
Right.
5 Island, I believe, has the Patterned Bush, which is another funny name, and it has stuff like that. 6th Island has I can't remember what 6th Island has, but I know 7 Island has the Tanobi Ruins, I think is what it's called.
Uh.
Whereas where you get the unknown.
For where 6 Island?
No, 7 Island has the Tanobi Ruins, but what's
Yeah.
6th Island?
6 Island is Water Path, Ruined Valley, Dotted Hole, Green Path, Pattern Bush,
Pattern
Outcast Island,
Bush.
Altering Cave.
Okay, that starts to sound familiar, but I believe the story for Team Rocket is on the 5th Island, perhaps.
I That sounds right. Yeah, 5 Island. Let's see. Yeah, so the 5 Island Meadow, Memorial Pillar, Water Labyrinth, Resort Gorgeous, Rocket Warehouse, and Lost
Yeah, the
Cave.
fifth. Yeah, so the 5th Island has it,
Hmm.
and what you do is as you're exploring the islands, you proceed to 5th Island and raid this rocket warehouse where you actually meet Ariana and Archer, who are characters in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I believe
Hmm.
Ariana's right there with the Arbok and the Muck and the Vileplume,
Hmm.
and Archer is the one with the Houndoom.
Right. That makes sense.
Not, I don't think are those
No,
their
they're
names or are
just
they just
no,
Team
they're
Rocket
just
grunts?
notated as admins.
Yeah, so those are them before they get like their because this game came out in 2004.
Yeah.
That's them before they get their glow up in
Mm.
Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and they get actual character names and stuff like
Yeah.
that, which I think is pretty cool.
Mm.
And then I believe you have to go to the dotted hole to get the sapphire.
believe so. Yeah, dotted hole.
Yes.
That sounds right.
Yes, because you fall. I think you read Braille again,
Yeah.
and you fall through the holes, and then once you get to the very bottom, that's where you find the
They had
sapphire.
a weird like attachment to Braille in these games.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I
Even though
think
you
once they
can't get
like
the Reggies in this game.
yeah, they once they picked it up, they just fell with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Because it's
then
different.
Seven Island has the trainer tower, and then I
Yes.
also believe Seven Island has the Tanoby ruins, which is what you do to
Yes.
get unknown.
Yeah, you get the unknowns on in the Tanoby ruins on Seven Island. I believe Birth Island is no, that's I think that's just a separate thing. That's where you get Deoxys in the games, but you have to have the
Yes, when
event
you get the
ticket for it.
tickets, yeah.
Yeah,
But they
exactly.
also sprinkle a little bit of Johto Pokemon everywhere,
Hmm.
everywhere in between. I believe Seven Island has the Valley, which has the 5% Larvitar.
That'd probably be in the Sea Vault Canyon, I'm guessing. Yeah, Larvitar 5%.
Yes,
Yep.
which I have seen somebody do, which is pretty awesome.
Shiny hunting.
Shiny hunting, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just pretty
Jeez.
awesome.
Yeah. Also, you got
There's a
Skarmory over here. That's awesome. Fampy.
mhm.
Nice. I like
Well,
that.
Skarmory. Then they also do the version exclusives with Johto Pokemon as well, which is kind of
Hmm.
fucked up because in Leaf Green you can't get Skarmory.
Yeah, I know. Sad.
But
Sad.
the seven islands are legit like a fun side adventure in the beginning, and then like post game adventure.
Hmm.
I would I'll save my thoughts for that later, so we'll go ahead and keep going past that. But they
Right.
also introduced some neat features, like on Two Island they had a multiplayer game corner. I don't
Hmm.
believe you could get any prizes. It was just games
Yeah, I think it's just a way to force connectivity with other systems.
because you got your free wireless dongle.
Hmm. Exactly.
This is one of the last great games because it has a Safari Zone and a
Hmm.
game corner
Yeah.
where you can gamble away your coins for
Your life
Pokemon.
savings of coins.
Right.
Man, I miss the game corner so much. I know we
I
bring it up every
really
time, but
yeah, I love the idea of like I mean because it was the original concept of like what Pokemon are like they're the Pokemon you get from like the machines that you put like well now it's
right.
4 quarters
Yeah.
but back then it used to be a quarter and then you get like a little toy. I
Yeah.
love that idea.
The gachapon.
Yeah, and then I know people are like, oh well, they're animals and blah. You can't just like
Yeah.
sell them. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
people sell puppies all the damn time. Nobody cares
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. But that's
But I
like thinking
really
about like if you go to like let's say if you go to the local casino over here and you're
right.
like, "Hey, I have $500. I want to buy this rare snake."
Yeah.
I mean, I
Um.
can kind of get it, but
mhm,
also it's Pokemon. Like,
Right.
I
Right.
don't know.
It's not real, but
Yeah,
whatever.
nothing's real.
I really would like them to bring that back. I just
Yeah.
hate being like, oh hey,
Yeah.
here's
Bringing the game corner
whatever.
back is just
Well,
it was
not the
just
game
so
corner
yeah.
itself, but just like getting Pokemon for achieving
Or
something rather
making
than
it
just like,
seem
oh
like
hey,
they could even make it more arcade-like too, where it's like you get the coins and you win tickets and you use those
yeah,
tickets to get prizes because like kids go to arcades all the time and they're not gambling real money. Like
right.
they could do something with it, but they're just too
Dude, imagine
scared.
what's it called? Not Space Invaders. What's the one where it's like a endless like and you're the little plane. I know there's like one like
What, like
1941 and you're like
Galaga?
yeah, like Galaga but with
Yeah.
Pokemon and you're just
Oh
like a
man.
fucking Staraptor and you're just firing off like air slashes or
Oh
something.
my, that'd be cool. Like some kind of like a yeah, that'd be sick. Like a Gradius or
Or
something
like a
like that.
Snorlax Pac-Man
Mm-hmm.
or I mean,
Yeah,
lawsuits abound, but you
yeah. The
know,
possibilities are endless. Be like
right? They could come up with stuff like that.
yeah, they could probably
You
do like
know,
a
I just miss getting Pokemon by
yeah,
achieving something rather than
exactly.
just like,
Instead
oh
of
hey,
making
like
curry.
Scarlet and Violet. Oh yeah, like Scarlet and Violet. I'm pretty sure they'll be like, oh hey, here's Koraidon and Miraidon.
Yeah, exactly. You're literally gonna be writing them the whole game. There's no mystery to the
Right,
legendaries. But just watch
right.
us be totally wrong when it comes out in a month. But
We'll
yeah,
see.
one
I
month,
mean,
four
because you can look at
days.
the box legend or not the box legendaries, but the box Pokemon here is the starter
Yeah,
Pokemon.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they
Right, you have to earn that by leveling it up. You don't. You're not. Well, I
you're
mean,
not
sure,
just
you're
given
given the
it.
Charmander.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
well,
not just given your
you're kind
Charizard.
of yeah, you're not given the Charizard or the Venusaur. You're earning them, but yeah, the other ones like
Venusaur.
I mean, Venusaur.
They also did berry powder. What was it?
Yeah.
The berry crush.
Yeah.
So dumb.
I don't think I ever used it. I don't know what it's about.
It's
Uh,
all multiplayer stuff. The game corner on 2 Island is multiplayer
yeah.
only, and then the berry crush is multiplayer only. And what I believe happens is you get points, and you use those points to buy like revival herbs and it's like just in-game items, like
Oh,
nothing like too broken
yeah.
or crazy.
Ew. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I'm good on that, honestly.
Not to mention the limited amount of berries available in game
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, it's all precious resources like I don't
Right.
know, like ammo in Resident Evil or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, so we also had the fame checker, which was a new feature in this game. So that
Which
would
was
give you
really
some
neat.
yeah, it gave you
It
info
was
on
kind of
major
like a
characters.
little lore dump kind of thing
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, you had to like go and find, like it would give you six blank spots, and you'd have to go and find the thing that would talk about the person in question, which could be trainers or it could be a sign or it could be whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's how you would fill it out. Like I believe like for Misty for and the gym leaders for example, you have to read their sign and then battle their trainers and then battle themselves and then something like that, and there's like a couple miscellaneous like NPCs you have to talk to
Mm-hmm.
in order to complete it. You don't get anything for it,
But it's
but
just
it is like a
cool.
little neat thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if you like to want to understand, like you said, the lore of this Pokemon world, or just
I'm not
have
saying
extra
it's the
context.
prelude. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's the prelude to it, but it kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of like the actual trainer cards in Sword and Shield that had like a little lore dump on them.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure this planted the seeds for it. I'm pretty sure that this was the catalyst that started all the trainer card info context.
Let's treat our characters like actual characters instead
Yeah,
of mindless plot devices.
exactly. Shout out to
Shout
How.
out to Hop or
Sh-
the How.
no,
What's Hop?
same. He literally
No, this the same
they're
thing.
the same thing, but no, at least Hop had a fucking arc. Yeah, How
Right.
is just like, oh, I'll do whatever. I'm just gonna eat Malasadas.
I'm gonna
What
beat
a,
my grandpa's
what
ass.
an
That's what this is gonna do.
what a dickhead.
Moving on, I think this
Yeah.
game was the first game to have a round two, quote unquote, with the Elite Four.
Mm-hmm.
So you beat the Elite Four the first time, and they have their teams. But once you go back to beat them on a second challenge, they have a different team from then on out. They
Yeah.
have Johto Pokemon. I know Blue is the one I can remember off the top of my head. Has Tyranitar and Heracross on
Mm-hmm.
round two. I think Lance gets. I don't think he gets Salamence. That'd be pretty broken. I
No.
think Lorelei gets Piloswine.
Uh, Lorelai
Yeah,
does get Paloswine.
and then
Bruno, I think he gets a Steelix.
he gets two Steelixes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agatha gets Crobat.
Mm-hmm. And Misdreavus.
Oh, and Mischievous. Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, I know. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's a one-stage Pokemon at the time, so if it was Miss Magius, it'd be a little bit more.
Right. I think
Yeah.
Lance got shafted the
Kingdra.
most because
Yeah.
he gets just Kingdra.
Yeah, he loses
Imagine,
Charizard.
yeah, he does. Yeah, he doesn't have Charizard yet. But imagine if he has.
Oh, right.
Imagine if he got like Flygon and Salamence.
Oh my god, if they even added Gen 3 Pokemon in here,
Right.
that would be
That'd
so
be-
sick.
Yeah, that would have been a pretty tough boss. I would
Mhm.
imagine it would have been like a really hard boss if he had
Right.
both of those.
Exactly. But yeah, Blue had. Oh wait, no, they're calling it green in this game because leaf green. But yeah, Heracross.
Yeah, but he's.
and
I think the
Tyranitar.
default option is still blue. No, I think it's blue. I'm not. I'm like 98% sure it's still blue.
Yeah, pretty sure.
But anyway, yeah, he does get Heracross and Tyranitar, which does
Yeah.
make his team pretty fucking stacked. I'd say probably the hardest one would probably be the Venusaur one.
Oh yeah, I would say so. Yeah, because at least with Charizard it has a glaring weakness already to rock types, but Arcanine only has one weakness, so, or at least it's just
Right.
single weaknesses.
That's still weak to rock, but it's not
Yeah.
quad weak.
Exactly. Yeah, I would probably have to agree on that one. Yeah, but yeah, pretty freaking stacked teams, especially how strong they are up to level 75. It's wild.
Mhm. Yeah, they do jump levels, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, because
well.
at least the strongest at the previous one was level 63, which I mean is
Yeah.
still really high level, but now it's like 75, so you got to be really ready before you.
This kind of
go
harkens back to what I wanted in Black and White originally, because like half of the region was locked, and so mainly you think about it, you're like, okay, Elite Four is probably gonna be like level 60 end game, right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I think I remember saying to somebody else at the time, I was like, I want when it opens up on the right, I want those trainers to be like level 80 or something like that.
Yeah.
Just because I wanted the more of the challenge and stuff and more post game stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
But this
for
is
sure.
kind of where you get like the trainers, the harken back to where they get like different teams and stuff like that. I think it's repeated in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I don't think it happens in Platinum. I can't remember off the top of my head all the games where like they get shifted up,
Yeah.
but this is the start of that.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
really think it should be a staple, really,
Oh,
because
absolutely. Yeah, totally
you
agree. And also, I
you
hate
want a
the fact that
challenge.
these Elite Four trainers, especially the one that's before the champion, still don't have 6-on-6 teams.
Right.
Like, I don't like that it's like a 6v5 or however much against 5. Because
Mhm.
it's supposed to be like the biggest challenge of the game, and you're still leaving one open for what? To make it easier on the trainer? No! Like, show no mercy! Like,
Right.
kill them!
Sweep the leg.
Yeah, sweep the leg. Go for the knife!
Yeah, go
Swim,
for the
swim,
knife.
stab!
And like I said, it's not like you're shafted in this department either, because like I said, you get access to the Sevi Island, so you have access to both Tyranitar and Heracross. I believe Heracross is in the pattern, or no, it's in the woods or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tyranitar obviously from the Seaval Canyon and stuff like that. You get
Yeah.
Sneasel, Pylos, or Swinub.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Horsey can now evolve into Kingdra.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
You're not like left to hung out to dry.
Exactly.
You get
Also,
access to all the same stuff.
also another thing they have access to, assuming that you're keeping your starter on your team, is that there's a certain move tutor. I believe on was it 2 Island or 1 Island?
I
One
think
of
it's
the
2 Island.
yeah. So there's a certain tutor that when you bring your final stage starter over to them, they will allow you a certain move, which is basically like a typed version of Hyper Beam. So
Elemental Hyper
yeah,
Beams.
Elemental Hyper Beam. Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Thanks. So yeah, Frenzy Plant, Blast Burn, and Hydro Cannon for the respective grass, water, fire Pokemon. And yeah, that's just another just way you could get ahead of the opponents, I guess. But I never really use Hyper Beam type moves. I'd rather have a Pokemon that not need to recharge after using an attack. But I mean, for brute force, I mean totally. But I never use those ones personally.
I'd like to see a Blast Burn, Charizard, Mega Charizard Y Drought enhanced Blast Burn, and see how
Oh,
max special attack and just see like all like the huge walls how they stack up against it.
is that possible?
Yeah, you could learn the Elemental Hyper Beams Gen 6.
Really? Huh.
Yeah,
That's sick. I like that. Yeah,
pretty sure
let's
you
see
can.
it. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
dope.
well, I'd like to see like how well something with like
Mhm.
suit like just special defense investment would
Right.
do against that, because I believe it's the only one that has that. You can't
Mhm.
boost grass type moves
Yeah.
unless grassy terrain does that, but I doubt it. And
Mhm.
then water would be in rain dance, but you need something to pair it with. I think Mega Charge is the only one that could do it himself.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, elemental hyper beams, we'll see, because they have a base power of 150,
Mhm.
just like hyper beam, so it
Yeah.
is pretty crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And their accuracy is like what is it, like 90 or something like that? Move tutors. So yeah,
Oh
they
yeah.
only teach moves once. Yeah.
There are a
Ever.
select couple of move tutors in this game. Some of them teach like really good moves, like I believe Rock Slide and Thunder Wave, and there are a couple of others that I'm like forgetting at the moment.
Mega Punch, Mega Kick, Seismic
Well, those
Toss,
ones.
Rock
Oh
Slide,
yeah, I think
Counter,
those ones. Yeah, Seismic Toss, Counter. Yeah, I believe like these
Thunder
are some.
Wave,
Yeah, Substitute, Dream Eater, Double
Dream
Edge,
Eater.
Explosion. So some of these
Mhm.
have like some really good. Oh yeah, there's the Elemental Hyper Booms. Which
Mhm.
island is that on?
That's on Islands Cape Brink. It doesn't say, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the first couple islands.
Okay, but yeah. So yeah, oh,
Two
Swords
Island, by the
Dance
way.
is
Two
another
Island.
one. Swords Dance. Yeah, as you can see, these are all like some really decent moves with versatility, but you can only teach them to one Pokemon, and then you're done. If you ever want to learn it again, you have to play an entire new game and get to that point, which sucks because you can see Swords Dance was locked on 7 Island, which means you have to
Yeah.
beat the game entirely to get to get there
That's insane. And literally you have to have it on the one Pokemon. So you got to
on the
make sure
one
it's like your
Pokemon.
your ace in the whole best Pokemon on your team, essentially.
Right.
Yeah, as we mentioned way earlier, is that we can now trade with Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald once the Sevi Islands like
Once
missions
you
were done.
find the
The
Ruby and
the
Sapphire.
exactly. Once you find the Ruby and Sapphire, you could trade with Ruby and Sapphire. So
Right.
that'll be nice to like finish out the national dex on there, getting your Gen 3 Pokemon over, so on and so forth. Oh yeah, so there's some Pokemon that have new locations based off of the remakes. So we mentioned already about Moltres being found on Mount Ember. But also, Magmar can be found on Mount Ember now, and Ponyta can be found on one island. So there's just some slight changes just to, I don't know, expand it and incentivize you to go over there to finish your Pokedex. So the legendary beasts are also available post-game. So Entei, Raikou, Suicune are available. But the one that you get, you only get one of them. You only get the one where it is stronger than, or has the type advantage over your starter Pokemon. So let's say if you started with Charizard, then the legendary beast you would get would be Suicune. Or Blastoise would be Raikou, and then Venusaur would be Entei. And also with Entei and Raikou, is that they know Roar. And once they roar out of battle, they escape and you can never battle them again. They are completely gone.
You have to be specific. You have to trap them first.
Yeah.
If you use Mean Look or Block and then they use Roar, then you never see them again.
Exactly.
But if they use Roar and they're not, then you just get pushed away.
Right. And that's just totally absurd.
Right. So you not only do you need something that knows Mean Look, but you also need something that knows Suction Cups or just throw your Master Ball.
Exactly. Yeah, because I recently just sped through a playthrough of Fire Red just so I could get Suicune for a team. So luckily I didn't have to worry about that, but I still kept my Master Ball because I didn't want to deal with roaming Pokemon, honestly. Like, at this point, like, that's the only thing I keep a Master Ball for is for the roaming Pokemon.
Right. And I believe the way to shiny hunt this, because once again, they're all shiny hunting, you have to save right before you give Celio the Sapphire. Because I believe once you give him the Sapphire, that's when it generates them.
Right. I remember we talked about that, I want to say, at one point, or I might have read about it.
Yeah, they're tied to that event. So once you give him the Sapphire, the Pokemon will spawn in Kanto, and then once you encounter it, that's when you can determine whether or not it's shiny or not. And then if it's not, it's reset, and then go find it again. Right.
Also, Lugia and Ho-Oh are available in this game. If we're talking about more about Gen 2 legendaries, they're acquired on an area called Naval Rock Island, but they can only be acquired via a mystery item or mystery gift item called the Mystic Ticket. But that was only given at the Nintendo World Store in New York, and then during the Pokemon Rocks America tour in 2005. Basically, they went to certain malls around the country, and they had this distribution over there too. But had you not had the means to go over there, then you're SOL, unless you manipulate your game. Also, in the same format, Deoxys was now obtainable in these games via Birth Island by an Aurora ticket, but that was during in-person events. I believe that was at like Toys R Us's, or if I remember correct, like Toys R Us or also Pokemon Rocks America, something like that. But you also again had to go in person to get this mystery gift item to attain Deoxys. But Deoxys was also given new forms in these games. So in Ruby and Sapphire, it just has its standard form. And if you trade that over or catch it in Fire Red, it would have a certain form based on attacking. So the attack form Deoxys in Fire Red, then the defense form in Leaf Green. But as I don't know if we mentioned it in the Ruby Sapphire Emerald episode last time, but there's also a speed form that was introduced in Emerald, because you could get Deoxys in that game as well. So in these games, the way you get the forms is by just having them existing in that game. So once you trade the attack form from Fire Red to Ruby and Sapphire, it goes back to normal form just by default. But then they change it in later games to where you have to interact with certain meteorites with Deoxys on your team, and then it'll change, so you could choose what it is at that point. But before that, it was only relegated to whatever game you were playing.
It really made Deoxys like this really unique Pokemon, for the time at least.
Yeah.
Because having a physical attacking Psychic type when Psychic type moves are all special, is really fucked up.
Exactly.
But I think its attack and special attack are equal, so there's that.
It still worked out. But I liked all the designs on the forms of Deoxys too, personally.
Oh yeah, love it.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite one?
Probably the attack form, if I'm to be honest.
I mean,
I like them all. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But if I had to just pick one, it'd be the attack form.
I want to say
I
either
think the normal form
speed.
is like one arm and its little tentacle is just.
Yeah.
Dumb.
But it changes its tentacles at its will, though. I mean, as we saw in Destiny Deoxys.
Well, yeah, one of the goats.
Yeah, one of the best Pokemon movies they ever put out, bar none.
Right.
Okay, then.
Aside from the first two.
Exactly. Yeah, the first two were amazing.
We gotta cover our bases here, especially except for the first two.
Exactly.
Best thing about the third one was the remix of the Johto theme in the beginning.
Exactly. And
what was the fourth one? Forever?
Yeah, fourth one is Forever, and then Heroes, and then Destiny Deoxys.
Destiny Deoxys.
Yeah.
What was after Destiny Deoxys?
What's that?
Oh, Jirachi the Wishmaker.
Oh, god damn, what a good movie.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And then after that, is it Manaphy and the...
No, I think it was Lucario and the Secret of Mew.
Okay, and then
I think
probably after that is the Manaphy one.
probably.
Because that one had mana, they didn't have Dawn yet.
Yeah, but hey, maybe we'll have a movie review discussion over here at some point. Let us know in the comments
Right.
if you want one.
Yes, so it was disproven for the longest time that the white rock in front of Moss Deep did not get you access to Jirachi. You did not get to go to the moon and catch
No.
Jirachi, unfortunately.
No.
That would have been probably the coolest fucking event ever.
Oh my god, I that would easily make it in like the top game for like by a mile. Is if you could just go to fucking space on the Game Boy Advance.
Yes, music can only be accessed after you complete the Sevi Islands.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, is it the first 3 or all 7?
I want to say at least the first 3.
I think it's just the first 3 because it'd be kind of weird if you couldn't do it until after.
Yeah. Or no, it's after you receive the national decks, and it requires Surf, Rock Smash, and Strength. So yeah.
So when do you acquire the national decks? Is it after you beat the game? I have to assume it is, or after you become champion. I have to assume it is because that's when you get access to the other islands. So yeah, it must be after you become champion.
Yeah.
And it's still level 70, right?
Yeah, it's still level 70. It has Swift, Recover, Safeguard, and Psychic.
Recover.
I know, right?
I think it's just a simple soft reset. I don't think you have to struggle. Oh yeah, you can also. Yeah, you can also soft reset for Lugia and Ho-Oh as well. Those weren't shiny.
Oh, wow.
Shiny locks don't exist.
Oh yeah, because I was gonna say, can you soft reset for Deoxys?
Well.
I believe
you can.
Shiny Deoxys. Can you imagine?
Right.
That's ridiculous.
I think it's one of the ones that hasn't even been out in an event yet either, which is kind of weird because Deoxys is like super popular.
I know. They just actually, I was looking at the Pokemon Center website today, like the store, and they just released like a box of like Deoxys cards with like packs and stuff. So maybe we'll find that on a microvlog. Stay tuned. There were some version exclusive changes. Is that so originally in Red and Blue that Mankey and Meowth were version exclusives, and now they're available on both games. Also, Psyduck, Shelder, Slowpoke, and Staryu lines, respectively, are all now version exclusives as well. Or they've now become version exclusives to the different games.
Also, we talked about the transitions in the areas.
We did. But also we barely glazed over it, but the Altering Cave exists in this game. Do we
but
talk
it's also...
I feel like...
Yeah, it's still broken. It doesn't do anything. It was supposed to tie into an event, which would have had Johto Pokemon.
Exactly.
But then they just put those in the Safari Zone, so...
Yeah, it never came outside of Japan, so it was just nothing.
Yeah, because I believe Smeargle's in the Emeralds.
Yeah.
Is in the Battle Frontier. Stanler, Shuckle, Apom, Teddiursa, Houndour, Pineco, and Mareep are all accessible in the Emerald Safari Zone.
Yeah, so pretty much SOL on all of that one. Sorry, Western audience.
I think the only thing that we had over them is that we got Jirachi.
Right. Yeah, we did get Jirachi because they had Celebi. We got Jirachi. Yeah, because basically with Pokemon Coliseum, if you pre-order the game, then you got... I think if you just pre-order at GameStop, then you get a disc that allows you to get a distribution for Jirachi, which I believe you get as many as you want.
Which is also... I believe you can. It is, but it is like extremely weird in how you do it. So the way you do it is you can... God, I'm trying to remember. You can get it as you start the game, but there's a quicker way to do it by saving and then cutting the power as it saves. Because something happens as to where it's like it's making a backup as you save, or it has a backup, and then when you go to save and you cut the power, it'll just reload that previous save, and by doing that, it'll switch it'll randomize the numbers for the generated Jirachi.
Interesting.
So originally it was almost like a 4 or 5 minute reset, which is now down to like a minute and a half. So you can do it, and it is possible to start a playthrough with a level 5 shiny Jirachi.
Yeah,
Ruby and
but
Sapphire.
that is so improbable too. That'd take you forever to do that.
But shiny Jirachi,
yeah, shiny Jirachi though.
Which is pretty. It's pretty neat. It's got red tags, I believe.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I remember that one. I always wanted a shiny Jirachi, but nope, never got it. At least not that I know
Nope.
of. Yeah, I don't think I ever got it now.
They just announced the not the termination of service for Sword and Shield, but
Yeah,
like when the cutoff date for that is. I think the only
November
Pokemon that's
1st.
the only Pokemon that's affected is Gigantamax Snorlax.
Oh, speaking of Gigantamax Snorlax,
There
baby.
you go.
Yeah, represent. Yeah,
So you
so
can't find it. I don't think you can't find it in the wild anymore, or you can't do the raids for it anymore.
yeah, heads up for anybody that's watching this before the max raid events are over.
November 1st.
Yeah, November 1st, they're going to be doing new max raid events where you could try and get Pokemon that are less likely to appear, like Gigantamax Snorlax.
So 17 days. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you care about that stuff, go get it while you can. Who knows if Gigantamax is even going to be in Scarlet and Violet or anything in the future? I doubt it personally, but
Right.
anything's possible, really.
All right. Last point we have here is the trainer tower, but nobody gives a shit because it wasn't. It was like the battle tower, but it was like super weird and dumb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it had e-reader events, but it was just not.
There
was no clout.
Well, the e-reader stuff was more so just for Japan. Like, we got everything already included in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, basically it's more of like a marathon type thing. Like, you're trying to get to the top of the tower as quickly as you can. But, instead of it just being like battle after battle after battle, you have to, like, kind of adventure through it, and then you just get there, I guess. So, it's just basically the battle tower with more steps. And so in Japan, with the e-reader thing, they had where you could get like different trainers, more floors, different prizes, but since the e-reader stuff never caught on over here, we just got everything included in our version of it. But yeah, overall, what'd you think of Fire Red and Leaf Green if you had to give it a rating?
I loved it. If I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. It's not. Okay. It's Kanto, you know, everything we've ever done and before and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they also add the Sevi Islands and then the Johto Pokemon accessibility. But I don't think that like puts it above the moon in like terms of like, oh hey, like this is one of the GOAT Pokemon games. Is it? It's definitely above what we've been getting now.
Right. I would probably have to put it at. I'd probably have to give it like a. I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10, honestly. Like, I'm just trying to think about it. Yeah, I really liked it. And also, still in my mind, I still think of September 9th as like a significant day. Because I think it's because I saw those advertisements so much on TV about Fire Red and Leaf Green coming out. And I just remember September 9th, September 9th. And so whenever I see that date, I'm like, oh yeah, that was the day that Fire Red and Leaf Green came out. It's the only one that I remember. Yeah, it just brings back all the memories of like getting Leaf Green and hanging out with my neighbor friends and just like trading and playing the games and just having a good time. Because we actually used the wireless adapter back then. We didn't play any mini games. We just would like trade and battle and stuff. But yeah, I do feel very, very nostalgic for these games in particular. So yeah.
Kanto does get a bad rap because most of its Pokemon are in Pokemon games. Not to mention we got the remake of Fire Red and Leaf Green, but then we also got Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, which was another rehash, but it was very limited in its scope.
Yeah, but there is a reason why they remake it so much is because of how, I mean, not only how, like, it basically is the catalyst for everything else after it, but it was such a good groundwork to start with that all they could do is just go up from there. They really couldn't do anything to just diminish it.
Right. Also, yeah, same. That's what I was kind of leading into is like, I know it's going to make me sound like a Gen 1er and sound like a fucking Kanto diehard, but I really would love another remake of Kanto, but I would appreciate it if they didn't treat it like Fire Red and Leaf Green, where you can get some Johto Pokemon, or like Let's Go Pikachu, where you couldn't get any Pokemon outside of Meltan that wasn't from Kanto. Because I would really love to see a Kanto journey with what, like, you know, if they started to do what they do like in Paldea and in Sword and Shield, where they sprinkle like, you know, other generations of Pokemon, because we didn't get that for Fire Red and Leaf Green. We got that with Sapphire, where their Kanto Pokemon were kind of sprinkled towards the end.
Right.
But for the most part, it's just Kanto Pokemon. I would love to see, like, you know, like how things would change in Kanto, like for instance, if there was Pidgeys and Starlies.
Yeah.
Like obviously people would start picking up Starly in Kanto. Right. How would that fare well against Brock? You know, because I think you can learn, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah. Brock with a
what if they dropped like Wooper before Celadon City or something like that? Also, just like, you know, it's more of a sequel rather than a remake, because like I want to see what the Kanto region looks like after, a
Mhm.
while, just different
Yeah.
areas, like what new areas have been explored, what things change and stuff like that.
Or
So
Kanto before Red when they talked about the Great War.
I'm gonna talk about the Great
Yeah,
War.
before all the Pokemon turned poison type.
Yeah, before they all turn poison type. Yeah,
Yeah.
the big old stories like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But yeah, I would just love to see like something like that, because I kind of wanted that for Let's Go, but Let's Go is a tech demo. I don't
yeah.
honestly at this point I really don't consider it a game.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed Let's Go more than I thought that I would, don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
But had like best remake for Kanto was easily Fire Red Leaf Green, like that's not even a question. But
Right,
also had it not been for Fire Red and Leaf Green, we wouldn't be getting a game like Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
right.
So,
Kind of laid the
yeah.
groundwork and kind of had them realize like, oh
It's like
shit, people were willing to pay
yeah.
the same price for the same game
Yeah,
for
and also like we got more ideas that we could add in here to make it a more full experience
right,
instead of just rehashing it like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
right.
But yeah,
My ideal, yeah, I don't know when or if we'll ever see it, because what fucking Let's Go came out in 2019? No.
no, I think it was 2017 or 18.
Okay, well, yeah, it's
One of those
2022
years.
now, so it's been like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So I don't think we'll see a Kanto remake anytime soon. But like
No.
dream ideas for a Kanto remake, I would love to see like Vermilion City like fleshed out more as like a harbor town.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to be able to revisit the SS Anne, or maybe like have a story beat where like the SS Anne is being like retired as a ship and they're building a museum for it.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Uh, Things like Lavender Town, where I don't know why they did in Heart Gold Soul Silver. They just fucking gutted the Pokemon Tower
Mm-hmm.
and made it into a radio tower. But I'd love
Yeah.
to see like because they moved it to Mr. Fuji's house, right?
Yeah.
I'd love to see it be like more of like an underground crypt, where like instead of the tower going up, like how the tower was like a tower,
Uh-huh.
it just goes deeper and
Like a
deeper,
burial ground,
like a
literally.
burial ground. You go to the bottom, yeah.
Yeah. Or and then at the
Um,
bottom you have like a spirit tomb or something like that.
right, and
But
then like sell it on City. The game corner is like, oh, I mean, I'd love to see the game corner come back. Don't
yeah,
get me wrong, but
just the sound on
yeah,
game corner comes
but
back.
I could see it as to like maybe they demolished the game corner and made it like into a community garden or whatnot, and that's how you like
Yeah.
where you find Erica or something like that.
Or some like extended plot about Mewtwo where it's like you have to go and like
Yeah,
hunt Mewtwo. It's causing havoc all over Kanto, and like you
right.
do something where it's like Mega Latios and Latias and Omega Ruby where you like fly over the overworld and you go and have to
Right.
encounter it in the sky or something like that.
They maybe something like they expand Cerulean City to the north and they encompass Bill's house as part of Cerulean City.
Yeah, and Bill's trying to fight back to the Megacorp that sell it
Bill's
off.
trying to, yeah, Bill's trying to fight the government eminent domain and whatnot. I'd love to see like an
He got
expansion
sold
of
out by
like,
Stelio.
yeah, I'd like to see like an expansion of goddamn it, I'm like it's Sylph Town. It's not Sylph Town.
Silphco.
It's yeah, Sylphco, not
Yeah,
Sylphco. The
Saffron.
city Saffron, yeah.
Yeah.
Like an expansion of that, like maybe like kind of add like more suburb areas before you get to like the main city and stuff like that.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
like a glow up of the region, really.
Right. I feel it. Yeah, just like something where they could expand more of the lore of Kanto instead of just like, hey, this is Kanto. It's like, what about it? Like, want
Right.
yeah, give us more about it, and that would be more interesting. I feel like, and that's where I feel like people that are originally invested in Pokemon as Gen Oneers would be like, oh shoot, we're back in Kanto again. But then also the new people were like, hey, there's something different about this, and there's something more interesting and more fun where we can get more story out of it. Like how
Right.
what was it? Like Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity was supposed to be story about Breath of the Wild, but it really wasn't. It was just more like acting like it's the same, but it's a parallel.
Yeah,
So,
right.
yeah.
There's just added on stuff. Hang on. Oh no,
Yeah.
that's not it. Sorry, my mouse died. I was
Oh.
gonna say look it up, because there was some artwork that really gave me like a bunch of inspiration that I saw years ago on the Pokemon subreddit, where somebody did like, because I actually have been to Japan. Don't know if you know
Uh-huh.
that.
Yeah.
What do you call
Yeah,
it?
Bono's been to the Holy Land.
Self plug, self plug, self plug.
Yeah.
But what do you call it? Somebody did, and I saw like some of the stuff there and like how it looked and how like how it was, and it's kind of like a mixture between modern and nature and stuff like that. But like I'll see if I can find it. It was like they combined how it like actually looked with like the Kanto region,
Hmm.
and it had like it was like a street, but like the 7-Elevens that you see there was like actually like a Pokemart and whatnot, and they had like power lines and like Pidgeys like resting on them and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it just it really just gave me like this sense of like, holy shit, like why don't they make it like that at all?
Right.
Like that would be like the perfect idea for a glow up of what it would look like. Ah, yeah, I can't find it, but I wish I had saved it. It was so
Yeah.
perfect.
It's all good.
But yeah,
Yeah. But
it I would love to see it. I would love to like think about like what Pokemon from other regions would they add to the Kanto region,
mhm.
and this be
That
like,
would
oh
just
yeah,
make sense.
yeah, that Kanto is like, oh, we had like a cultural fair and a lot of Pokemon got out. Now the
Mhm.
region has like a bunch of them running around.
Yeah, exactly. Morlels have infested the Kanto region, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be like
Also,
Last of
like,
Us, but with Morlels as the clickers.
yeah. Also, like, what forms of like different Pokemon? Because like we have like the beta Pokemon, right? There's
Yeah.
like I'd say my mouse is charging, but look up beta Pidgey for me.
I mean, if you're talking about beta Pokemon, we just talk about Stunfisk.
We just talk about what's it called? Yeah, beta Pidgeys was
Yeah,
the one that
yeah,
is right there. The fat owl looking one. Like I
yeah.
always thought
Looks
like that could be like a
like a hoot
Kanto
hoot.
Hoot Hoot. Yeah, a
Yeah.
Kanto Hoot Hoot. Like
Hmm.
what other Pokemon that they could do that would be like Kanto, like a Kanto form and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
believe like the beta Pokemon have like a ton of potential
I
for
don't know
stuff
if
like
those
that.
were like.
Or different evolution stuff like Gorochu, like maybe the Gorochu could be like
Yeah.
electric fighting or something like that.
Right, exactly, exactly. Go back and delve on these old designs again. I mean, they kind of did already with Alolan Executor, which was really cool that they threw it back to that. But yeah, and let us know as well, like what you would like to see if you were to see a new remake of Kanto. Like, what would you like to see in a Kanto like
Here, let me
remake,
send that
let's
to you
say,
real quick.
or reimagining?
It's not the exact art,
Yeah.
but like you can see on the picture, like it would like the house. Imagine if it was like a 7-Eleven and it had the Pokemart symbol
Mhm.
instead of it just being a house and stuff like that.
Yeah, something like
But
this. I
it
could see
had
that.
like this vibe to it, and that's literally like what like walking around was looking like would look like, and then there'd be like sky, like 4-story or 5-story buildings around
Yeah.
that. But I feel like this would be like a perfect like glow up for say Pallet Town.
Yeah. You know, I had
Like
a weird dream like a month or two ago. I remember I barely ever remember my dreams, just for the record, but I remember
mhm,
it was this dream where like I woke up and I was in Japan. Like I think I
mhm,
was there with like you or Patrick. I'm pretty sure Patrick was there. And it was just like it was kind of like a cloudy, almost rainy day, or maybe it just rained the night before because you could still see like water on the streets and stuff like that. And as I was walking through the neighborhood, it felt something like this. Like I feel like it was
mhm.
very close to how this was, maybe slightly more industrial, but I just like something like this just triggered that in my head. Whereas,
Right.
yeah,
And
but
that's what I was
yeah,
trying to like get to earlier. Like that's like what that like that specific painting, if I could ever find it,
yeah,
like did for me. And I was like, wow, like this would be like I think it'd be the perfect glow up for a Kanto remake
oh yeah, totally. But
and
yeah,
stuff like
one could
that.
dream.
I would
Yeah,
love to see like stuff like Magnemites riding the electric lines, just like
mm,
floating over them and stuff like that.
yeah. I'd like to go to Japan at some point. That'd be really cool. Just
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
It's very nice. I enjoyed it.
Mm, yeah,
But
definitely.
yes, let us know. Are we crazy? Are we just fucking
Mhm.
insane for asking for a
Yeah.
Kanto remake?
And also, if you'd like to fund our trip to Japan, then link down below. No,
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe, please. Give us money, so we
Give
could.
us money.
Yeah,
No,
not
yeah, I
half.
think this might be him. Let me send you the link. I think it might be him. I'm not entirely sure. It is a
Mhm.
Kotaku link, but like literally just like scroll through some of these pictures and you'll get an idea
Okay.
of
Yeah.
what I'm
Let's go to
expecting
Kotaku,
for.
Australia.
Yeah,
Shout out to our Australian viewers if we have any.
right.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
So
So
this
looks
would
like
be
that
the
these were
museum.
made by an artist named Simone Mandel, and she posted these on her Instagram page. So shout out to Simone.
Right.
So yeah, I kind of get an idea of it. Whereas like it looks very very modern, but still has that video game kind of feel to it. It almost reminds me of the artwork that they used for that new Intergalactic show on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
You got the route to Mount Moon.
The Pokemon Center before Mount Moon.
Right, exactly. This one just looks like I feel like I've been to a gas station like this before, it's just out in the middle of nowhere.
I feel like I've been to Mount
Yeah,
Moon before.
yeah. I feel like I've been there before. We got the Zubats and there's a Route 4.
It's on the way to Cerulean City.
Is that an Ekans right there? Don't step
That
on
is an Ekans, yeah.
Then you got the bike shop right there.
Those, like legit, those are just the type of buildings I saw like tons of.
That's sick. I like this. The slow bro right there. Yep, because it won't listen.
It won't listen.
Won't listen, right? He's like, no, I don't think I will. Yeah, and then there's the one we just saw.
That is supposed to be Pallet Town. Yeah, I see Professor Oak's lab right in front of on the sign.
Yeah. And
that could be Blue's house right there. This could be Route 1.
Mm-hmm. Route 21.
21.
You stupid. Yeah, we got this over here. Yeah, I like this. What is that, Viridian City right there?
Viridian City.
And that's a Pokemon right there.
That's like the 7-Eleven thing that I was going for.
Yeah, it looks like a Family Mart.
You're right.
Yeah. Then, what is that supposed to be? That just looks like San Francisco, honestly. Yeah, this is cool. I like this. This is Viridian Forest for sure.
Yeah, shout out. I would love to see like this as like concept art for what a Kanto remake would be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, shout out to Simone Mandel.
Kanto sequel. My bad, Kanto sequel.
Exactly. Or a prequel would be cool, but yeah, I could definitely see that as a sequel for sure.
All right, because I would love to see like maybe they even switch up the starting time. Maybe we don't start in Pallet Town.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Maybe they start north of Cerulean or something like that, and they switch up the gym leaders.
You start in Lavender Town and you're dead. Woo.
You're dead. They could also do that, and like you could fight Surge like towards the end, and Surge could have like an Electivire or a Gorochu.
Oh,
there's tons of variations that they could do it.
Misty
that would make
have
it
a Tentaquil.
Yeah, Tentaquil.
Yeah.
That would make it feel like it's some kind of thing. And then, like you said, I would love to see the Sevi Islands again, but I'd also love to see like maybe they incorporate another set of islands. Like maybe you do the Sevi Islands. Yeah, the Orange Islands, and they do like an Orange Island tournament.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, and then you have in the Viridian Forest, you have the interactable Pidgeot that Ash left behind. Like an asshole.
Yeah, there's a Pidgeot. This Pidgeot's waiting for somebody.
Yeah, it's like you end up catching them, and then you have to battle Ash with the Pokemon that he abandoned, like the Primeape and the Butterfree and all that, and then you just beat him with his old team.
There you go. I'd love to see them do a twist on stuff like that, and maybe with like the modernization, like some Pokemon get like a split evolution, like with all the power lines, Butterfree becomes Bug Electric or something like that.
Yeah.
Turn into more of like a moth.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, let us know. In my head it sounds great. I don't know if I'm just. It just sounds
I could
crazy.
see that happening. Like, had they wanted the idea of being cool, then they could probably do something like that. But it seems like we're just going to be getting just mid at this point.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for watching the Babblers podcast. Of course, if you like what you saw, please subscribe, comment, like, share this video to your friends if they like Fire and Leaf Green or Pokemon at all, or want to hear.
And if they don't like Pokemon, force them to watch it.
Yeah,
tie them down to a chair.
Yeah, literally.
Pour it down their throat.
Clockwork Orange style. Just strap them by their head. Yeah. But yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Bye.